Alright, welcome back everyone. In this video a quick overview on how I managed to update my motorcycle to have a button, this one here, to operate my garage doors. If I press, it will just open, and then when I press again it will the sound is a warning, it's built in. I haven't disabled it yet. I guess you can just disable it. If you press again it goes close again, with the same annoying noise apparently. But here's how I did it. So I guess technically you could as well. I've done it with Home Assistant, so this video will just explain the steps. I've used Home Assistant, ZIGBEE protocol, so that's a Wi-Fi mesh-like network that connects all smart devices. So my garage door opener, which used to be a non-Wi-Fi connected one, I added that here, this white box on top. I've added that one to create an ZIGBEE. Well, it's not a ZIGBEE, that one is Wi-Fi, to create a Wi-Fi connection, and it's done with this thing. I think this one says like Fly Socks, whatever that name is, of whoever came up with that name, but the official name is Meros, and you can, if you check Meros MSG100, which is written there as well, you can check on their website or on Amazon. You can find them for like 30 or even less. In fact, this used to work on, that's why this antenna is here, on radio signals. If you have those remote controls, you could as well open up one of these and build one of those into your bike, and then you would have a radio controlled connection, so you wouldn't need all the Home Assistant stuff. So that's how I enabled the port opening and closing. And then on the bike I had this button already set up from the cruise control. I have another video, and there is an Thingiverse file as well showing how this design was created. It's not my own design. I'll put a link, or you can check the cruise control button video relocation, cruise control relocation video button. No, cruise control button relocation video. That's the right sequence. Where I show you how I did this. And I also linked the creator of this button, because I didn't create it myself. I just adapted it a bit to have two buttons instead of one. I'm not a big cruise control fan, so I didn't use it a lot. Well, I didn't use it at all, to be honest. So I just reused that button for this garage door opening project, which I do every time I go ride. I need to open the door, and every time I get home again I need to close it, so I'm using this button a lot. And then I use this thing from IKEA, which is the thread-free, I think it's called on-off button. Yeah, they don't really have lots of info on their. It's the one here you can see with a 0 and a 1 to put lights on and off. But important is that it's also officially using ZIGBEE. So you can use them either with the IKEA thread-free connection hub stuff, or you can just use them and integrate them in your own ZIGBEE mesh network, which is the thing I did. If you get one of these, you also have the shortcut ones, but those only have one button. Then you could still use like a long press and short press to open two or to control two garage doors. But I find somehow the shortcut ones sometimes get lost in my network, while these on-off ones, they are way more stable. I'll put some image where I show you how to open it. You can just, it's like, it's very easy to open one of these up, and then you get this. And as you can see, I soldered some wires on this one for another project. Those are very small but accessible switches, and it's not masked or anything, so you can just solder on it. It's very easy to, and it's powered with a CR2032 battery, so one of those small round flat batteries. That's maybe the only downside, that it's still battery powered. Of course, you could also step down from 12 volt on the battery on your bike well, this is using for sure 3 volt, but it might as well still work on 5 volt or more. I wouldn't put 12 volt on it, that might burn stuff, but yeah, 5 volt should still be okay to be tested. But anyway, that's how you open one up, and then all you have to do is like solder these wires that come from this button. It's just an USB wire that I nicely wrapped, so I just cut one through, cut the connectors off both ends, soldered it onto the buttons there, and it goes through the steering inside here underneath the tank cover. There I have then one of these soldered up with the wires, so that if you press those buttons on the handlebars, it's the same as pressing one of these buttons on this IKEA switch, on-off switch. That's literally how easy it is. It's very easy to solder. It's a very easy job to do. And then all that's left is like literally putting in the configuration where you would react on the short presses of those buttons to command the door to open or close. I have some other stuff done with Home Assistant already, and I think I've shared some stuff already on the forums and so on. Like for instance, there is a Raspberry Pi. I'll make another longer video where I do some more explanation on the Raspberry Pi as well. There is a Raspberry Pi here that's using a Bluetooth connection to an USB OBD2 dongle on the other side of the bike, so that it gets OBD2 data. Like you could use Bluetooth Low Energy as well, as long as you have the check implemented to create a secure connection with the bike. And then it uses a Wi-Fi signal to my home Wi-Fi network to go to my Home Assistant to publish data like the current state of charge and so on. And then I have a very simple there, the white box on the socket, the 22 volt outlet. It's a smart socket, so that it's also on the Wi-Fi network. And I have some scripting, some rules, and based on the time, for instance, if I only want to charge at night, then I can simply put it so that it starts charging as soon as the evening clock for the cheaper electricity starts. So what I have to do, of course, is plug this one in. The script will enable electricity on this socket, and this bike will automatically start charging if there is electricity on this socket. Then it connects to the Wi-Fi network, because then the Raspberry Pi is as well connected, and it will update the state of charge all the time. And as soon as, for instance, it reaches 80%, which is a nice voltage to have, state of charge, to have it in storage mode for a couple of days, then it will cut the electricity to this charging cord, so it stops charging. And then the day before I have to leave to work, I want to have it on full charge, full sock, 100% completely charged, then I just have it another script that enables the power again to the outlet, and then it continues to charge as long as it needs to get the full charge. That's it. That's how easy those things work. That's how stuff works. Thanks for watching.